Hi, and welcome to the Friday episode of Stop Chasing Skinny, just a bite-sized bit of information. This week's episode is about how you can build muscle, decrease fat, and keep your hunger in check. I had a call this week with a potential client. If you go onto my website, you'll see that a little box pops up and it says, hey, let's talk. It's an opportunity for somebody who is thinking about joining my program to ask me questions. So we do a 15-minute call, and it gives the potential client a chance to ask me anything they want. So this particular client had asked me, she was concerned about how she was going to be able to decrease body fat, increase her muscle, and she had mentioned that she noticed before when she was doing probably about more than 40 minutes of cardio that all of a sudden she would just be ravenous, or hunger would kick in. And it all makes sense. I was very happy to talk to somebody who was so in tune with her body. It was pretty neat. So I wanted to talk about that real quick. And so with the program, the way that I've created it, it has 3 days of weight training, and a lot of those weight training routines are set up into giant sets. So you're moving from exercise to exercise, their total body, and I have some plyometrics that are included in there to keep your heart rate up in between. So with that, I also recommended that she do 2 days of high intensity interval training and 1 day of steady cardio of about 40 minutes. That's what I recommend on the 12-week program every single time. Now, if there may be somebody who is just getting started, they're getting started back into it, then we just kind of scale down the intensity of those exercises. But really, that is the formula that I have found to work so well. So even if you are doing your exercises on your own, you might be a trainer. I have a lot of trainers that listen to this, but training for a specific look, in addition to being healthy, it takes a little bit of different training. It's not just, go out there and just exercise a bunch. Believe me, I tried it. That's where the whole stop chasing skinny comes from. But it's coming up with the right formula to help you build those muscles, to decrease that body fat. And, I thought that she was very insightful to ask the question about her hunger and keeping that in check, because sometimes, if you've noticed, the more you exercise, the hungrier you are. If you really break it down and really pay attention, I think you'll find that the more cardio you do, the more hungry you are. And so I don't want anybody to take this away. And I joke about it and say anything but cardio, but I don't want you to take away that I say not to do cardio. You totally have to do some cardio. It's just how much, what kind, and the frequency. And the other piece that I wanted to talk about with this formula, with the 3 days of weight training, with 2 days of high intensity interval training, with 1 day of 40 minutes of steady cardio, preferably something very fun, not just like go pound the pavement, unless that's fun for you, is consistency in your training and giving it long enough to actually kick in. A lot of times we will try something and we try it for just like a few days, maybe a couple weeks, and we think, oh, well, I'm not getting what I want, so I should add more cardio in. Maybe if you've been lifting weights and now your jeans feel a little bit more snug. That happens because when we're working out, we're tearing down our muscles, those micro tears in our muscles, and then the way that they get stronger is to build back up. Well, the way that they build back up is through nutrients, and the way they get nutrients is through an increased blood flow. So that will make things seem a little bit puffy from time to time. So it's really, really important to stick with a routine. It takes a while to see if it's working or not. I've had clients where they'll start on the 12-week program with me, and like week 8, they're like, Stephanie, I don't know what's going on. I'm not really seeing the results I expected. And, if I can really encourage them to stick it out and keep doing what they're doing the way they're doing it, as long as they're following the program, then typically by week 10, now we're really starting to see it, and definitely by week 12. But some people, it just takes a little bit longer. It depends on what your situation was before you started exercising. And a lot of factors play into it, your level of stress, your age, things like that. But the point is that if you stay the course, if you maintain your consistent routines, and obviously your nutrition needs to be in check. And nutrition is the same thing. You don't want to like, oh, so much, oh, take it off. I guess a good analogy for this would be like whenever you get to a hotel room, and if it's too hot in there, you may turn the air conditioning all the way down to like 56 or whatever. And the next thing you know, now you're freezing. And so you're like, oh man, I got to turn it back up. So now you turn it like 78. Oh my gosh, I'm so hot. So, I mean, really, we've stayed in enough hotel rooms and we realize as life goes on that if you just pick something that is more neutral, more something like where you want to be, you won't go on that whole roller coaster ride. It's the same thing for fitness. It just takes some time. It's a function of time. And I feel like this day and age, like our brains are so scrambled with all of these mixed messages about instant results. And you kind of can't blame yourself because, everything else seems to be instantaneous. You order something from Amazon, it shows up on your doorstep by the time you hit send. Maybe a little exaggeration, but, you want something designed on a website where you can just build it. Houses these days, there's so much prefabrication that's done that it almost seems like your house is just, oh, I want this house, poof, done. Versus what it used to be where it took a lot of time and effort and work. Pancakes. I want pancakes. Just go get the box and mix some water and maybe eggs or whatever you mix in pancakes. And it's done. The original way that you made pancakes was you had to grow the wheat. You had to milk the cow. You had to get the eggs from the chickens. You had to take the milk from the cow to make the butter. And eventually you could have some pancakes. Don't forget to collect the syrup. So at 2 times a year or something like that. So you see what I mean about, we have all these instant things. Well, we've been able to engineer a lot of things, but our bodies are still our bodies. And, it just changing things to think that you're going to get an instant result, like it just doesn't happen that way. To add to this, we have a lot of online marketing things out there that promise some very quick results, and you just never know what happened on the other side of it. What is their motivation to spray tan up somebody and just make them appear as if they had quick results from this just 6-minute exercise. That's crap. It's not going to work. So back to the whole original point of this: how do I gain muscle, shed body fat, and keep my hunger in check? The trick is to really stick with your weight training, to be consistent with that, to provide a lot of intensity in that, depending on where your starting point is, to stick with those shorter bursts of exercise, so the high intensity interval training, 2 times a week max, I really recommend, because it's pretty tough on your body. And then steady cardio. If walking every day is your thing, go ahead and walk every day. But what I see sometimes is I have clients that are like, oh, well, I ran 5 miles yesterday and I did 7 miles today and I did your advanced weight training and I don't understand why I'm not seeing results. Well, part of it is your body is in total crisis mode. So it doesn't take that much to get results. Less is often better. And I want to read one testimonial that I have from a client that has been in the 12-week challenge. And she came to me, she was referred to me because she was sick and tired of running. But that's all she knew. That's what she knew to do. And so when her friend referred her, she was like, hey, I'm excited to try something new. So this is her little testimonial. She said, I started week 10 of the challenge today. I'm already down 1 full pant size and I can't wait to see the final results. So I said, congrats, obviously. And then I went on to ask her if she happened to know the difference in hours per week that she spent training. Is it about the same time? Did she just change up her routine? I was wondering about that because I have a lot of clients, they do the online program and They just check in from time to time. Some people ask me a lot of questions, so it just depends. And so I hadn't really heard from her very much because she was busy working and not on Facebook. So her response was, I used to spend about 9 hours a week working out. So about an hour and a half, 6 days a week. And now I spend about 4 hours per week with your workouts. Honestly, finding out about your program has been one of the best things that ever happened to me in terms of fitness. I have more energy now than I have had in years, and I'm also stronger and faster now and working out smarter, not longer. Thank you for your amazing program. So that makes me so happy because that's like an extra 5 hours every week that she gets to enjoy life, and she feels better and she's getting better results. So again, to gain muscle, to lose body fat, and to keep your hunger in check, it requires weight training, high intensity interval training, and some steady cardio. But please make that fun. So that's my whole talk for this week. I feel like I talk about this a lot, and it's because it's very important, because a lot of the other messages that we're getting from different marketing and media and people selling stuff is kind of the opposite. So that's really the secret formula. No secret, really. It's consistency. And the other thing I wanted to say too is that I have now added a free call every month for current members. So whether you're in the SK Fit Life Challenge or you're in the monthly membership, the last week of every month on Tuesday and Wednesday, I have scheduling times. So if you are a client and you want to talk to me for 20 minutes, you can ask me anything. You can just tell me about your life. But it's 20 minutes for us to connect each month. So obviously in the private Facebook group, we do that. But something different happens when you're on the phone. So I wanted to offer that to my clients. So if you're a client, that's what you get. All right. I hope you all have a great week. Talk to you later.